who would be joining me, Khushbu, for this presentation. Um, all right, so we stand for more, which is. Do we go?
Is it working?
All right. Welcome, everyone, for the talk of the MORE team. Firstly, we'd like to thank the organizers, Eco Week, for giving us to share our experience. We are MORE, which represented TU Delft at the Solar Decathlon Competition 2019. I have Anna and Francesco, along with me, Khushbu, who would be taking you through our journey. So what is MORE? For modular office renovation. How this all started, it started with a small team that came together in the afternoon of students who were ambitious enough to come up with the first proposal for the Solar Decathlon competition. This started back in September 2017. What is the Solar Decathlon competition? So it's a competition that allows students from all across the globe who have the ambition to think beyond the box and have a sustainable vision for a future. So all different teams came together with the same concept of renovation, and we tried coming up with different strategies for it. And what you see here is the solar village at Sentenza in 2019 in the summer. As the name suggests, decathlon, that means 10 different contests. So we were evaluated for 2 years across these 10 different contests, which included architecture, engineering, construction, energy efficiency, communication, social awareness, neighborhood integration and impact, innovation and viability, circularity. And 3 of them were actually recorded and met site during the competition, which included comfort condition, house functioning, energy balance. The MORE team of members from different faculties across the TU Delft. So 8 different departments were actually involved in this process. It comprised of a team of 52 students, which came together from 20 different countries representing the Netherlands at this competition. We had people who were mechanical, students who were mechanical engineers, civil engineers, electrical engineers, architects, designers, and we had a lot of outside who helped us, along with a lot of faculty members and all our different partners. So this MORE team not only comprises of us, but also everyone involved. This was our team standing very successfully celebrating our second position in the competition in front of us in Hungary. It was definitely an overwhelming moment for all of us in the team, as you can see. Why did we choose to do this? So as construction and as we know, the construction sector contributes to 30% of the CO2 emissions, 40% of the total energy consumption in the world. And however much, as we know, that 50% of the construction waste ends up in landfills. So we tried to address that at a global level, and at a Dutch level, we have an issue that offices below energy label C would be shut down in 2023. This accounts for 2/3 of the total office stock in the Netherlands. On the other hand, for housing, we need 1 million new homes by. So the MORE team tried to address these two issues through our journey within the MORE team. We tried to transform these inefficient office buildings into net positive mixed use functions, that is giving back to the environment more than what we consume in terms of energy, water, air, biomass, and material. For this, we chose a case study of the iconic Marconi Towers in the city of Rotterdam. These towers were designed by SOM Architect, and exactly the 3 towers have been replicated 6 times across the globe. Office building from the 70s and 80s with a central core which was net positive, circular in its approach. We tried to create a lifestyle for the inhabitants within the building. Shared economy was what we tried incorporating, and also giving a better lifestyle, a better future design.
So regarding the facade concept,
our main aim was to take full advantage of the large facade area, because in high rises we do roof area, but we have a large facade used for energy production. But at the same time, we wanted to preserve the iconic river, which is a strong landmark in the area. So we chose to replace the existing cladding with new technology of colored panels that allow us to preserve the same image, but at the same time to integrate strong elements that display the net positivity, such as the vertical black stripes that you see, that are the solar chimneys, which I'm going to explain later. While at the bottom floors, we proposed natural facade panels to purify and cool down the air at the pedestrian level. So as Kuzbo said, regarding the program, WICS function program for the whole complex, with an open to the neighborhood ground floor that hosts commercial, educational, but also leisure activities for the whole neighborhood, while the main part of the town combines residential and flexible co-working spaces together with various common areas and green the rooftop. Our main target group was the young professionals who are very much attracted to this particular, and we wanted our design to be affordable for them. So one of the main ways to achieve that was indeed to integrate these various spaces within the building. As an example, not every apartment needs to have its own laundry machine, for example. We try to integrate all these shared facilities into the core of the building and come up with even more common areas, such as kitchens or food productions, where the residents can interact and share resources. And regarding the dwellings, we wanted to provide a variety of spaces. So we came up with small units to large co-housing apartments that can be combined with winter garden spaces, but also with working units. Again, one of the main aims was for a design to be flexible and adaptable to the future needs of the residents, but also to the market needs. We wanted to be able to expand apartments or combine them, but also to allow easy transformation from residential to office use and vice versa. Therefore, we came up with a fully modular concept. We designed 4 main modules: the kitchen bathroom module, the bedroom workstation module, facade module, and the wall modules. So they served as the renovation tools and were all prefabricated to save time, cost during the transformation process. And as you can imagine, we were not able to build the whole tower during the competition. So what did we actually build was this. And this is from the Solar Village in Hungary. So it was a cutout from tower, a southwest corner, with a 50 square meter apartment for 2 people and a winter garden. So the layout of the apartment really suits the lifestyle of young professionals who tend to work from home more and more. So we wanted our space to be flexible and adaptable. So as we can see in this diagram, during the day, we have the sliding walls open, bed modules folded up into desks. So the whole space acts as a unified working area, while during the night, the walls close and create 2 separate private bedrooms. And when weather conditions allow, the whole living space can be expanded winter garden. Here we look at the floor plan of the build prototype and how we actually integrate net positives that Kuzbo mentioned before into the design. And again, to give you a better understanding of the space, at the bottom we have the entrance to the build prototype, to a platform deck we made to represent the common areas of the building, while the actual apartment happens from the winter garden in this zone. And then we have the main living space with a kitchen module in the center and the bedrooms. So our main approach to achieve net positivity was to first try to reduce the demand as much as possible through passive design strategies, then try to any available resources, and finally apply any active systems sustainably. So starting from the energy, the goal was to produce more energy than what we consumed, with an ultimate vision to either store it or distribute it to other buildings. And we started again by minimizing the demand. So here we're looking at a view of the winter garden, and as left the whole concrete structure exposed so as to take advantage of the thermal mass. But we also made use of the winter buffer zone. We placed there a large quantity of phase-changing materials that allowed us to preheat or pre-cool the air before entering the apartment. So various passive strategies were combined with energy-efficient systems and a high-performance envelope. So again, we look here at an image of the facade where, as I mentioned, we have integrated solar production and these solar chimneys. So what these do is basically they combine PVT collector system for heating up the and again solar panels for energy production. Regarding water, our first priority operate on the different flows. Therefore, we divide it into freshwater stream, grey water, black water, and with a strategy for all of these streams. In the build prototype, we implemented a Hilophyte water filter system. The system does is it collects the rainwater and the grey water, which is then filtered through the roots of plants and distributed for other purposes, watering the plants or flushing the toilets. Moreover, we made use of water-saving equipment such as vacuum misting shower devices that helped us save up to 40% of water. Regarding biomass, our main was to explore food production possibilities within buildings. Therefore, we mapped down the different biomass and we were able to install and implement an aquaponics system. So this is a fully circular system integrating edible plants. And what happened is that the fish excrement are used as nutrition for the plants. And in return, the plants water from the fish tank. So in the end, both plants and fish can be consumed. Air positivity, our main goal was, of course, to purify the air pollutants. And here we see again a view of the winter garden. We placed a living green wall with air purifying plants that would filter the air before entering the apartment. And besides, we also came up with different strategies regarding environmentally friendly materials for the interior or natural strategies. And finally, regarding the materials, the main aim was to minimize the materials used and use materials with as low environmental impact as possible wherever we could. And finally, come up with alternative business models regarding the life cycle of materials and products. Here we see a view from the living space towards one of the bedrooms, and we can see some interesting materials that we used, such as the floor tiles that were almost 100% natural and fully demountable. Or in this view, looking towards the winter garden, we see, that again, like we said before, the concrete stacks closed, but we also made use of reused items, such as the climate ceilings that were previously installed in another office building, or second-hand furniture that we bought from local stores. And here we take a look at the module of the kitchen. So there we experimented with some fully bio-based materials, such as the canapalithos, which is the black material used in the kitchen. And of course, as Francesco is going to explain with more detail later, all the elements were designed for disassembly. Same for the interior modules that were made using CNC milling and with dry connection. So I'm going to give the word back to Kuzbo.
Yes, regarding the circular business model, we accounted for different concepts such as adaptability, flexibility, shared facilities, mixed function. This was all so that our user targets have affordable housing. In the Netherlands, a shared room within a house comes in the city of Rotterdam comes for around euros a month, which is quite high. So that's the reason if you see the rent level per month per person, we try to keep it below that level so it's affordable for newly graduates and starters within the city of Rotterdam. We promote and we really hope that people have a more shared culture. That's the reason the more you share, the lower your cost of living is. So that was our circular bill. Also had a lot of strategies for how the materials will be readapted with after its current use and how everybody can make this system. So it was all planned for and it happened to be feasible. I would now hand over the mic to Francesco so that he can give an overview about the construction process.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. So let's give a look at what we and how we built it and added to the final prototype. Because of the competition that was held in Hungary, we had to build type first in the Netherlands so that we could learn how to actually build something, because we are all students and we don't know how to build it. Then we had to disassemble it, take it apart, ship it to Hungary, build it for the competition, disassemble it once again, and bring it back to the net staying now. So to do that, I will just take you through a bit of the planning that we used and what integrated for us, and then I will show you examples of our design for disassembly on site. So as you can imagine, 2 years takes a bit of looking ahead and how you're gonna perform this project. So we had a timeline that we as much as possible, where we first went from design all the way down to assembly. If this was the first rough idea, we ended up on site with this kind of project planning with more than 300 tasks that will say everything that we had to do and how much time we had in order to build it on time during the competition. And another level that we had to look at was how to organize the site, because we are supposed to build the prototype within an area of 30 by 20 meters. So we had to make sure that everything that we were building will be able to arrive on site, positioned on site while we were working on other parts of the building. Transporting an entire building across Europe, planning also from the transport side, and we tried to model the volumes that we needed to transport and put them into our trailers using 8 trucks, and that were not loaded as you can really see them here. Were a bit more messy, but we ended up using the right amount. I would back once again. Of course, construction elements are not always made for disassembly, so some we were not able to recover because, of course, it didn't break during transport handling, but we ended up reusing the majority of it. And here you can see one of the last phases of the flooring system, and with interior wall here we were about to place the floor heating and cooling system. And of course we went all the way with this concept of the ease of assembly from, once again, the concrete structure all the way down to the interior elements. And here you can see the bathroom modules being built that was all assembled through something like this. It's just a normal alloy key. Something very, very quick and easy to take apart and disassemble again. So what we learned out of it, we learned that it's possible to design for disassembly. It takes
with the initiative that recycles garbage from the oceans. So we have that plan to make use of this waste found in oceans. Also from the canals, it's pretty common that you can find many items, bicycles and many waste items in there. And our plan was to come up furniture ideas and make use of that. But in the end, we only did it to a certain degree. We didn't have the time further on that, but it was within our plans, let's say. Other questions? Okay. Okay,
No
it's fine.
problem.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Enjoy the second part of the lectures.
And hope all of y'all stay safe at home. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.